We had a good discussion this morning. In fact, some of that stuff should almost be recorded. Your article today, I think you're a stand-up comedian, to be honest with you. I think you have not missed your calling, because you're not only a journalist and former think tank member for the U.S. government, but you're actually a comedian. And you write articles and books with Craig Smith, who's on Fox News Business, with Neil Cavuto at least once a week on the Fox channel. And this latest article, it's so funny. I don't know what to say. I mean, when you look at the article, at the top of the article says, "Meat tax politics, my beef with the left." I'd like you to get into this because we have people, we renamed them because they are appropriate. AOC, I say, and I came up with the name Absent a Cortex. This woman is like some kind of whirling dervish of idiocy, and she thinks she knows everything. She's like the think tank for the crazy left in the Democratic Party. I mean, we have this proxy spokesperson, Nancy Pelosi, who's got a big, won't even declare an actual impeachment, actually, where the Republicans can get a chance to actually subpoena candidates and people. And they're enraged that the White House won't respond. Why should they respond? It's cool. And we have the meat tax. This is funny. I'd like you to get into this because it's so over the top. It's like, have we just kind of died and gone to the ninth ring of Hades? What the heck's going on here? How can these people actually talk publicly, right?
Yeah, it does tell you something about the mentality, the wheels and gears inside the brain of an Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, self-proclaimed socialist, who says she wants to abolish cattle, and she wants us all to become vegetarians. But then, a few weeks ago...
Sterile vegetarians, no children, by the way, too.
She was caught and photographed gorging on hamburgers in a private meeting with her chief of staff. So apparently she's not that vegetarian. She's the typical leftist who says, do as I say, don't necessarily do as I do. Oh, by the way, blessings this Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, the holiest day of the Jewish year. Mm-hmm. I take it you have been praying the Kol Nidre.
Well, I have an interesting take on the Kol Nidre, okay? One of the problems, I think, with modern Judaism, including that particular take on it, it thinks that if you repent, you can just go back sitting the next hour or the next day. Number one, that's wrong. The real issue is as it says, the only sign, we talked about this yesterday with Ken Klein, the only sign is the sign of Jonah, which is the sign of Yeshua, Jesus, God incarnate, dying on the cross, paying the price. And what we have right now, we have this in America too, and it's part of our politics and our culture. We think somehow if we do enough good works, it wipes out the evil things we do. And one of the very few things that these Muslim maniacs have said, it's true, is that we are also doers not only of good, but also of evil. I mean, just look at it. I mean, we can get lots of examples.
It is indigenous in Jewish culture to love to engage in pilpel, in hair splitting, in finding these very refined arguments. But, of course, the essence of the Kol Nidre is that you, on this day, getting yourself straight, rectifying all your bookkeeping with God and other human beings, you are saying, I would like all the vows I have made this past year to be annulled so that I am no longer in violation of any of those vows. And I would like God to annul any negative vow he has toward me as a kind of reciprocation, so that you then are set in a harmonious relationship, an at-one-ment with God. At least that's how I understand it. I don't claim to be a Jewish theologian. But it's a fascinating day, and I just wanted you to be very blessed on this
Well,
day.
I'll tell you, it's part of the reason why that's percolated through so-called Christianity. And Christianity believes in this idea that good works wipe out evil.
Lawyers.
What?
This is also why so many Jews become lawyers. They love the sophistry, the hair splitting, the very refined use of language
Right.
to either make things clear or unclear in what they do.
That hair splitting is the essence of wizardry. For example, the son-in-law of Donald Trump is a wizard. He worships Rabbi Schneerson, who died over 100 years of age. He believes that the Sefer Zaira and the Talmud of Babylon are true. You got to understand, the average Jew has an above-average intelligence, but IQ not submitted to God is by its very nature evil. You know, if I wasn't, let's say, Anakin Sky Deagle, I got visited by Pindar 27 years ago, I would become Darth Deagle. And because I have more talents than the average, what are called, rock in the bucket of humanity, I could do a lot more evil because I have more talents.
Your experience with divinity and mysticism, that you understand that, yes, you have a very high IQ, but compared to God, your IQ
is insignificant.
Half a point higher than the average human being. From God's point of view, we're all very similar.
Yeah, but here's my point. My point is, if by averages you're more talented than the average, you can actually manipulate the other public. You can also do evil that they can't even see coming at them. And the problem is, we see this with politicians that lack what I call a soul. They believe in kol nidra, which means they can do bad stuff, repent, and then go back and do more bad stuff the next day or the next hour. And this is the idea that percolates.
Being a lawyer is all about.
It percolates all levels of secret orders and Masonic orders. Is the idea that if you do enough good works, like the Shriners running around little tricycles and so on, it wipes out all the evil. Because the little shrine hat goes back to Morocco, where they took 500,000 Christians and killed them, beheaded them, and put their blood in the fountains, which circulated the water. And they put their fez hat in the fountain and actually, dyed it red, and they put the scimitar in the front of the hat. And it doesn't matter what holy book you worship on, if you belong to a secret order. It could be a Sefer Zaira, the Talmud of Babylon, the Urantia book. It doesn't matter. It can be some book from some native shaman, as long as you believe in it. And the problem is, you see, this is the principle of Luciferianism. Our Constitution, for example, is not based on Christian principles. It's based on Luciferic oppositional dialectics. And so is kol nidra.
Looking for, I take it, is not people with a great brain, but people with a great heart.
Right. What God wants is he wants submissive hearts of people that can approach him, no matter how smart or talented they are, like children. I approach God like a child. If you don't approach God like a child, you can't do any good unless you do God and then extra. You cannot do good unless you submit to your ideas to the great master of the universe, God. And the problem I see is with this so-called holy day, which is I call an unholy day, is a good example why Jews don't accept Messiah. Now, a minority of Jews, and by the way, we had experts who couldn't make it tomorrow, Carl Gallups, because his mom died. But he talked about this because one of his pastor friends, his family were Jewish rabbis, and he finally became a messianic believer in Yeshua, Jesus. Now, as he learned this, and even though he knows Hebrew, he's realized that Judaism by its very self, and by the nature of Judaism, it pushes the Jews to become, if you want to call it, part of the nidus of the New World Order and the controllers, because they have higher IQs than the average population. I mean, if you look at the number of Jews that have Nobel Prizes and major awards and run universities and corporations, they have a disproportionately high percentage, right?
Well, and you know why that is often said to be the case? Because there were those centuries in the Christian church where Catholicism taught that if you loved intellect, if you loved reading and studying and scholarship and so on, you could only be allowed to do that if you were a high theologian, basically. If you were a bishop, if you were a monk, if you were a transcriber of books, and all of that came with a vow of celibacy. But on the other hand, the rabbi in your village was encouraged by his congregation to have more children than anyone else. Right. And parents would take the bread out of their own children's mouths to make sure that the rabbi's children were fed. So at the same time that the brightest intellectual or cerebral genes were being obliterated in the Christian community because those were the people who were celibate.
Become
in the
celibate,
Jewish community, they were amplified, they were magnified.
Oh, right.
And so when that went on for centuries, that did have an impact on the people on the other end.
Yeah, it's like selecting a breed of dogs that can do a certain thing, right? If you're a dog breeder, it's the same thing with humans. You're bred dumber and dumber people. And one of the things about society, I consider people like myself the spice of society, because I don't have the shut up gene. I don't have the I will submit gene. I don't have I believe in your cognitive dissonant gene. And as a result, I'm always going to come in opposition to people that are inferior intellectually and don't have the guts and are not willing to die for the truth. And people like me are always revolutionaries. And the reason is, God creates people like us so we can be the prophets and apostles. We can even question foolish things like Kol Nidre. Kol Nidre to me is demonic. The Day of Atonement, as it's currently set up by the Judaism, is the reason why they don't accept Yeshua, Jesus, as the ultimate sacrifice. In fact, the minority of Jews in Israel and the evil jellyfish Christians want to build a temple which will, and this is a thus saith the Lord, not Deagle's opinion, it will be the abomination that desolates. So if any knucklehead Christians out there think building a temple is a great idea, we want a sign, and Jews think it's a good idea to put a sign directly right against the Dome of the Rock, you're an idiot. I guarantee you that the only sign is the sign of Jonah. Jesus died. We are the temple. We are the Nios, as it says in Hebrew. And the problem I see is this so-called celebration, and the same thing goes with these morons in the environment. They don't even understand the carbon oxygen cycle. When I hear AOC, I'm a charter member of Greenpeace along with Patrick Moore. I was an environmentalist and an oceanographer 50 years ago before I even went into medicine. These people are disgustingly, evilly stupid to the point where opening their mouth is a vile violation of humanity. It's disgusting. They should not open their mouths.
The term the abomination of desolation referred to what the Greco-Roman ruler of Syria did when he was put in the rulership charge of Judea. And his response was to say, we're broad-minded here. We believe that no one religion should be dominant, and therefore, if you're going to have a Jewish temple, that's fine, but we would like you to include a statue of Zeus.
Right, and they had to say Zeus and the moon gods, right?
Like to ritually slaughter a pig, the animal of Zeus, on your high altar.
Right.
And that, of course, was more than upsetting to the Jewish priests who were there, who believed in only one God. But the Roman idea was just like multiculturalism today. All gods are equal. And all gods must be represented in everyone's religion, and it's intolerant of you not to accept our pagan god.
Well, that's why we have the meat tax with the politics. That's why the left thinks that they want to worship Gaia. That's why these morons don't even understand the cyclical biology of how carbon oxygen cycles regulate the ozone layer, and how you need ultraviolet light, a magnetic flux field of the Earth, and oxygen to actually create a protective field against incoming cosmic radiation X-rays. These people are beyond stupid. They're dangerous. Opening their mouths puts us all in danger.
They are planning to impose a 163% tax on meat in the near future.
Yeah.
You go down to buy salami, they're going to add 163% more onto the price of the salami to go to the government.
Yeah. How are they going to accomplish this? Now, what I see happening is the young people are in debt up to their eyeballs because we've let our healthcare system and our cost of living so high that these young people are now in the nanny state. They want to live at mama's home and daddy's home. They want the state to pay for everything, and from the magic money tree that AOC and these other morons think just exists, rather than kind of rationalizing and cutting the costs to make it reasonable so everybody can afford it and we have still autonomy, they want to have a control system. That's why the meat tax politics comes down to not only they're going to tax our meat, we are a carbon-based unit as well, and they want to tax us.
Take meat out of the mouths of the poor.
Exactly.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great-tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great-tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
Red Deer Velvet DR is an amazing new product with a patent to preserve 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones, same as fetal life, where you don't age at all. The state of fetal life allows the 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones produced by the placenta to be supportive of the regeneration of tissues and organs, with maximum apoptosis, changing the tissue and organ structure of a fetus. That's why if fetal surgery is performed, there is no scar. Taking 2 to 3 capsules twice a day with oncomycin, myco-D2, provides an amazing support for regeneration of any tissue and organ in the body, and even advanced stem cell therapy support treatment. Do get NutriMedical's Red Deer Velvet DR from Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well and stay young with NutriMedical. Lumen photon therapy, infrared light, far and near infrared, is extremely important for pain control, stimulation of nitric oxide, improved perfusion, and stem cell activation and reduction of cytokines. Dr. Bill uses it for pain control, for regeneration techniques, for organ regeneration, and for stimulation of your stem cell activity. This amazing lumen photon therapy this year will probably have an additional device with frequency therapy during the on phase of the lights. To obtain a lumen photon machine, contact Dr. Bill at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. He'll prescribe it with the providing nutraceuticals to help with your regeneration, healing, and pain control. Nothing like the lumen photon therapy for easy therapy for your eyes, your pain, your joints, regeneration of organs, detoxification of the body. Get a lumen photon machine from Dr. Bill Deagle, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well with NutriMedical. The Sonic Life Machine is one of the most amazing therapies that Dr. Bill provides. It is the best sine wave exercise machine on the planet, doing whole body vibration, opening up the muscle to reduce insulin resistance, improve perfusion, release stem cell therapy throughout the body, and epigenetically stimulate the body to release DNA activated. The epigenetic therapy with the sine wave curve of frequencies given for atomic resonance, but Linus Pauling for minerals and amino acids, stimulates the production of messenger RNA to correct structural protein enzyme deficiency for almost every illness. There's nothing like the sine wave therapy for improving body healing for exercise, but also the epigenetic treatments Dr. Bill can provide can help neutralize frequencies for disease states and illness. Get a Sonic Life machine through Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com. Contact us at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871, or go to the website NutriMedical and give us a contact. Dr. Bill is available to help you get well with NutriMedical.
Need a powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens? Allicin Med is the powerful universal pathogen killer's latest advance of German-sourced allicin, enzymatically stabilized to clear the body of bacteria, fungi, mycobacteria, and parasites. It penetrates body biofilms and is non-toxic to tissues. Pathogen resistance cannot develop for long-term body-optimized wellness. Clear stealth pathogens that promote autoimmune disease, cancer, and vascular inflammation and plaque and promote healing of tissues. Now pathogen-free. With 200 milligrams more power than prior Alamed, you can't get a more powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens. Give your body what it needs. Allicin Med. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. That's 1-888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report on the Genesis Radio Network with open lines every weekday. NutriMedical.com.
And Durham's reports are coming out and they've expanded the scope down to another year. But the actual finalization of the report may not be done until after the election, which means, just like when the Muellergate actually extended and made them lose the House to the crazy bitch Nancy Pelosi and her crazy squad and the other maniacs in the Democratic, the Demon Rat Party, we're in a situation now where Trump is doing stupid things, pushing 5G network, genetically modified food, and fracking. And he almost made a big blunder regarding Syria. And first off, the nerve of Turkey saying they're going to encourage into the northern Syria. Are you kidding? When we are supporting the Kurds? And secondly, we don't need it.
They're not just incurring. Let's understand what the Kurds have just been hit with is an attack of F-16 jets provided to Turkey by the United States because Turkey is a member of NATO.
Right.
In other words, they're not our best jets, but very good jets given to Turkey or sold to Turkey precisely so they could serve in defending Europe, not so they could attack the Kurds.
Right. To me, the very first thing that needs to help is if I was the leader of America, I would send in a Delta Force and decapitate the Turkish government.
By the way, just out of interest,
I would immediately remove them from NATO.
When that coup d'etat was going on, purportedly, against Erdogan, the Turkish leader, you realize that Turkish forces invaded Incirlik Air Force Base in Turkey. Incirlik is the main U.S. NATO base in Turkey, and when they invaded it, they in effect took control of about 60 U.S. nuclear weapons that were there.
They still have control of them, don't they?
They may. I mean, these are the kind of things Americans don't have explained to them. But Turkey instantly became a nuclear power.
Right.
By taking over Incirlik.
None of that, they have licenses to build Abrams tanks and also other equipment that they're licensed to build in Turkey. They have the fourth largest army on earth.
Well, before that, Saddam Hussein had the fourth largest army on earth.
Right. Here's what I think.
That's how these things go.
Here's what I think is going to happen. Remember, Turkey is Sunni. Turkey wants to be a member of Europe, of the European Union. Turkey's a NATO member, which means we have to defend them against other potential enemies.
Yes,
we've armed them with our weapons. And the Kurds are our allies. I mean, they're trying to fight against the Turks, who have a very bad attitude in the whole area there.
Yes, but there's one minor challenge, and that is when you say the Kurds, you're talking as if they were just one unified group.
No, they're different groups.
And they're not. The faction that has been carrying out terrorism for many years in Turkey is basically Marxist. They are not like the Kurds of Iraq, who are basically pro-U.S. Right. So, therefore, it's misleading.
It's a different faction,
Now, the other thing is, if by invading into Syria, the Turks have the effect of releasing 10,000 ISIS prisoners and thereby restoring the caliphate and the terrorism at one blow, because the Kurds are no longer there to guard them. Understand there is a good deal of talk, I don't know how accurate it is, but you may, that Turkey, in fact, has been backing ISIS. I mean, this is how complex realpolitik gets.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
So it could be that Turkey is just carrying out its desired policy to begin with and undoing whatever the U.S. was able to do. ISIS, of course, nominally is a threat to Syria, but they may have agreed not to be quite so much of a threat. Russia, for example, may have talked to them and said, if you come back and attack the U.S. or certain other Western interests, that's fine. But if you come back and attack people we're backing as Russia, and that includes Turkey, Turkey has acquired anti-aircraft systems from Russia. I think an S-300 system. And that is not necessarily a good or wonderful thing. Or was it Iran that acquired the S-300? Whereas others are getting the S-400 system. Anyway, Russia has been intervening with military supplies. Russia has even gone to the extent of going to the Saudis directly and saying, you know, we supplied this wonderful anti-aircraft system to Iran, your enemy, but for enough money, we will provide the same system to you in Saudi Arabia. And our system is more reliable than the U.S. Anti-missile system. So those are the kind of interesting exercises.
Boy, is that ever evil.
I mean, this is the fun of living in the Middle East. And then you study people like the Israelis on this Yom Kippur, and the Israelis have certain wisdom sayings today. For example, of the Arabs, of the people they face in the Middle East, they traditionally say, look, they're either at your feet or at your throat.
Right.
And so if you're going to be sane, you want to keep them at your feet, not give them a chance to get at your throat.
Right. Amazing. I think this is going to get very ugly. I know that Israel is starting to bomb these so-called missile silos for Hezbollah from Iran. I know it gets complicated because it's not just a two-sided war; it's a multi-sided conflict, isn't it?
Well, Israel
who's
has
allied with
agreements with Russia, for example. Israel even has agreements with China to run two of their ports.
Interesting.
Israel had even provided a small fighter jet to China. And I don't mean Taiwan, I mean communist China. So it's an interesting world we live in.
Well, I think it's a pre-apocalyptic world. I mean, you know, they got a series on Amazon that talks about the devil working with an angel at the at the end of the age. I'm thinking, I see so many weird things going on in our politics and so on. You know, good pretending to be good, but playing with evil.
Well, when you just look at domestic politics and you ask, who is Company X supporting? And you look and you discover that Company X has been a major political donor to both political parties here.
Right.
Because they have to be a donor to whoever wins. They can't afford the risk of being a donor to the party that loses.
Exactly.
And that's the way your ancestors and mine probably fought in Scotland. And I know my ancestors who were Comballs always had at least one Combal leader fighting on each side of any battle, because if you were only on the losing side, your property would be forfeit to the winners.
Right.
But as long as one of your lords was fighting on the side of the winners, whoever that was, that lord could continue to be the owner of the Combal properties. They were not forfeit.
Wow.
And so they were on both sides of every battle.
As long as there's blood and guts, as they say. Right? Blood and guts.
Yes. Our blood, their guts.
Oh, God.
It's a fun play. And that takes us back to meat, if you want to think about it. You made an interesting point. CNN had asked the Democratic presidential candidates if they supported a carbon-free America, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Green New Deal.
Carbon-free, yeah.
A carbon-free America, and they all said yes. But as you noted, and as I noted in my column this last weekend, the reality is you and I are carbon-based life forms.
Small detail,
hey? Every time you exhale, you're exhaling carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, into the air. A carbon-free America would be a dead America. We can't live without that cycle.
Right.
And therefore, voila, the Democrats have just proposed that America be killed, that all living things here be destroyed. And you look at their policies and you realize that undoubtedly is what they really believe.
Yeah, and what's amazing to me is they're actually nervy enough to pretend that this is a good thing and this is what we have to do, and they scream at you. I'm thinking, If I could stand in front of AOC and just bitch slap her and Nancy Pelosi and these Nadler and so on, I'd say, you know, I'm going to keep slapping until you shut up. I am so sick of turning on the news and having to take a news anti-nauseant.
Yes,
it's like I can't turn it on
Bill
now.
Speaking, by the way, if you want to address your letters.
Yeah. You want to address your letter, be mad at me.
I do such things.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. I cannot believe, I'm just doing this as a hyperbole, right?
I know.
I can't believe that this kind of dialogue is going on, because there's always a solution to everything. Healthcare, borders, whatever. But the problem is you never want to deal with the real issue. We always deal with a peripheral. For example, you want to make sure healthcare is affordable, allow cross-border competition, allow alternate pathways, get rid of malpractice, allow people to write off all their nutraceuticals and technology. You want to fix the borders? Fix the drug cartels. The drug cartels run, along with their special activity division of the CIA, the cartels inside Mexico, Germany, Mexico, Central America, even Afghanistan. We're making deals with the Taliban. It's because they're still selling their nasty, crocodile, 4-quality heroin to places in Russia and so on, so that they can destroy the young people. While at the same time we permit them so they don't bother our equipment and so on going through our roadways in Afghanistan. It's a very dark deal that's going on here, isn't it? Very dark.
Oh, it is indeed. And I love to see, for example, in the global warming issue, in most issues, if you look at, for example, the New York Times today just had a piece attacking Bradley Johnston, who was one of the scientists who, writing in the Annals of Internal Medicine a week ago, that's
right,
the theme of my column, concluded that eating meat is not really hazardous to your health. It isn't likely to give you cancer or a heart attack or anything else. It may cause other problems, but in terms of individual health, it's nowhere near as harmful as suggested. Well, the New York Times could not tolerate that, and so it has attacked this scientist, saying, oh, well, only 3 to 4 years ago, he was taking money from the food industry to promote a similar study about sugar, saying sugar wasn't so bad for you. And therefore, we now decide to discount everything he's saying or doing. Now, this fascinates me because, for example, as you know, I'm a specialist on climate. And I see scientists, I see the dogmatists on global warming who all say if you took so much as a $10 lunch from the oil industry, nothing you ever say or write about climate can ever be accepted or believed because you were in the thrall of a special interest.
Right.
And I find that very interesting because almost all the scientists who are saying that and pushing global warming alarmism and so on, they are almost in all government scientists.
Right.
Or they are paid, they have government grants of some kind. In other words, they are getting their money, their power, their prestige, their position from the government.
Right.
And do we think government is not a special interest in these debates? Government stands to make another $100 trillion from raising taxes based on global warming.
Right.
They intend to gain vast control, eliminating private industry, private property, and transferring all of that power to the government itself. It is an open sesame to almost every kind of socialism you can imagine. And therefore, any scientist who speaks up for global warming is doing the service of a political vested interest, a special interest that wants to make itself more rich and powerful.
Exactly, using the so-called enviromaniacs, or really the bankers and globalists. And of course, it also is feminizing. These are phytoestrogen molecules in, say, soy as a meat substitute. People have to understand what's going on here.
Well, the point is you have a choice between eating vegetables or eating meat. If you eat vegetables, you're going to lead the life of basically a cow eating grass, spending 15 hours a day chewing.
Right. Plus, also, you're going to be less active, less fertile, and lower sperm counts for men.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor-endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in Central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Red Deer Velvet DR is an amazing new product with a patent to preserve 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones, same as fetal life, where you don't age at all. The state of fetal life allows the 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones produced by the placenta to be supportive of the regeneration of tissues and organs, with maximum apoptosis, changing the tissue and organ structure of a fetus. That's why if fetal surgery is performed, there is no scar. Taking 2 to 3 capsules twice a day with oncomycin, myco-D2, provides an amazing support for regeneration of any tissue and organ in the body, and even advanced stem cell therapy support treatment. Do get NutriMedical's Red Deer Velvet DR from Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well and stay young with NutriMedical. Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M, of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations for referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. At NutriMedical.com, we have the most amazing drinks with the best mouthfeel, highest quality bionutrient exposure to your body to heal and regenerate, and the most powerful persistence of nutrients to heal your body dramatically. We have Ageless, which makes you age less, which repairs your DNA, extends your telomeres, etc. We have Life Support that detoxes phase 2 detox pathways, glucuronidation, sulfation, and methylation pathway support. We have Glycemics that blocks the carbohydrate absorption and helps with diabetes or weight loss, and as well helps with people that are trying to build up muscle, using things like our special formulas from Dr. Wolf called Mega Muscles between meals along with Sports Energy Light. We have the amazing Nutri-Complete, the most complete red and greens drink in the world, with the best mouthfeel and flavor. You can often mix it too with Vitamin Mineral Mix, which is our fruit-flavored mixed power of vitamin minerals. Stay well with NutriMedical every day.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions having that.
So let's get back to the article. One of the primary principles you're trying to teach people in this article, and of course also in your regular books, you have an amazing book, of course, you want to offer that if you get the 800 number, you get it free. It's ordinarily would cost you about $20. You and Craig Smith offer, I think this is the 8th book in the series, isn't it?
No, this is our 7th.
7th.
But it's okay. Craig, you see about once a week on with Neil Cavuto on Fox Business. He is a monetary expert. I'm a think tank person. And so we write these books combining politics, history, culture, with monetary issues to show you how the government is shafting all of us and how you can protect yourself. This is a 250-page book. Normally you'd have to pay Jeff Bezos and Amazon $20 for it. But the good news is, as a listener to Dr. Bill's show, you get this book absolutely free and postpaid. We'll pay for the shipping. We'll pay for the book. We'll even pay for the phone call to get it. Toll-free number 800-630-1492, like the year Columbus sailed the ocean blue. That's 800-630-1492. And just call the number, leave a message on the answering device. The book is yours. And you will find it interesting. It goes into a lot of issues like the ones we're discussing today. Now, what's intriguing about all this, as I write in my column at WorldNet Daily this week, or WND.com, oh, by the way, I should say, in full disclosure, my wife is a vegetarian, but she is a lacto-ovo vegetarian. That is, she drinks milk, she eats eggs. I, by contrast, am also a vegetarian, but I am a lacto-ovo fisho-faulo-carno vegetarian. In other words, the one attribute I share in common with God is we're both omnivores. We eat it all.
Funny.
So with that in mind, what happens if you're not an omnivore? You know, our ancestors originally were basically vegetarian or fruitarian on the plains of Africa, or at most were scavengers. But what happened, scientists would say in evolutionary terms, is they began eating meat. And the more meat they ate, the larger their brains become. Meat is a very concentrated form of energy. It's also the only form of energy that will give you the 9 or 10 essential amino acids that you have to consume by eating. Your body doesn't synthesize them. And therefore, it is a very important substance to aid. And as our brains grew, we learned how to make tools, we learned how to migrate, we learned how to stand on our hind legs and have free use of our hands. Basically, a lot of the major things we are as human beings came from being meat eaters. And this is widely acknowledged among scientists.
Yeah.
Now, what happened last February when Cam Newton, the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, decided he would become a vegan and he would eat only vegetable stuff? Well, lo and behold, his ability to play football has been in decline ever since. He has become notably weaker. One of his teammates who decided to become vegan with him has already gone back to eating meat because he says just the minor weight loss from going vegan has made him feel significantly weaker than when he was a meat eater, something that a professional football player really can't afford.
Yeah, amino acid deficiency.
It also may limit people. For example, let's think of some famous vegetarians of the last century. Adolf Hitler was a vegetarian.
Yeah.
British Marxist labor leader Jeremy Corbyn is a vegetarian. Infantile idiot, New Jersey's vegan Senator Cory Booker is a vegetarian.
Oh, isn't he? Yeah, what an idiot he is.
Yeah, so this is what we would become without meat, potentially. And that, of course, is exactly what the socialists want to have happen. They would love to see Americans weaken, and as you say, as I say in the column, one tendency that comes from this, as you eat vegetarian things, you tend to feminize.
Right.
You tend to become... This is also the danger of the government handing down health guidelines on what you should eat. Remember, they made a decision decades ago, we're going to have you eat non-fat or low-fat food, which is quite unnatural since a third of your brain is fat. You know, the term, to call somebody a meathead is really a compliment in terms of what it did for the IQ of our species. It made us a lot smarter.
You're talking about like our meathead on their the show on TV, right?
Yes, Archie Bunker and all of that. All in the family. But the point being, the government handed down these health guidelines saying, we want you to take the fat out of what you're eating, which is one of the worst things they could have recommended. Right. But because food is no longer palatable without the fat, we're going to offset that by glutting the food with sugar. And sugar is not necessarily a good thing to eat in vast quantities. I mean, it's led to the trend toward diabetes, overweight, being fat, and oh, by the way, that fat is feminizing. So is drinking alcohol. You know, scientists will tell you when you see an alcoholic, don't be surprised if it's a man with enlarged breasts,
Right.
because he's driven up the estrogen and female hormone levels in his body by drinking or by getting fat. These things are not particularly healthy for you, but the government handed this information down as a dogma for whatever reason. They may have been paid off by special interests. In any event, this is the same kind of attack they're now making on this scientist who 4 years ago apparently also was advocating eating more sugar. And it turns out that his study, his research then, was funded by, among others, Coca-Cola and PepsiCo.
Right.
Not to mention Cargill, which is a meat producer. By the way, as doctors like yourself, Dr. Bill, often say, these soda pops like Coca-Cola, they are basically liquid candy.
Right.
They're just sugar in liquid form.
Right.
And they are not necessarily, therefore, a good thing for you to consume.
Well, your cancer cells like it. Cancer loves Canada and also sells pathogens like fungi that grow, because we know cancer is a fungus. Fungus among us.
I did not know cancer was a fungus.
Primarily, and also things like Epstein-Barr virus, usually a combination of fungi and viruses.
The same way that lichen is a combination of a synergy between two different life forms like that.
Right. Yeah.
So,
what I see happening is I see total insanity in the demon rats, the same term as Judge Pirro. Total passivity in terms of most of the Republicans not putting up with this, like even Trump. Like if I was advising Trump, immediately I would declare martial law, jail all these people, shut down the media. I would take and start cleaning out the SAD, who runs the drug cartels, including Central America and South America. I would completely close the border. I would remove China from the World Trade Organization. I would seize their bank accounts of the PLA and the oligarchs in Russia. I would attack and remove the nukes at La Chile Island and Punta Huerte. I would embargo all the oil from Iran and from Venezuela. And I would shut down Cuba and say, we're done. And I would dare these other nations.
Over Venezuela, you may as well have shut down Cuba, because they survive only by having free oil.
Yeah, but Maduro only survives because he's got 46,000 Cuban special forces, including private guard. If you just simply embargo the oil, that's the end of it.
No. So those private guards are there partly to protect him from others, but also to kill him if he makes a move towards surrendering to the U.S.
Exactly. So the point that I see, what we have here, is we have Russia and China with a gun in our neck and a knife at our throat. We have globalists that actually want to make deals with Russia and China. Look at, I think it was last week, someone in one of the, the NBA made a statement about, go Hong Kong, and he got whacked because he said, you can't say that. And in fact, he had to retract the statement supporting Hong Kong against China. We have movie makers now in Hollywood that will make sure they remove symbols in movies that offend the communist Chinese totalitarian maniacs, the most racist, totalitarian control freak state on the earth. And we put up with this crap. Why? Money. Crazy, isn't it?
Well, it indicates just how weak we really are ourselves.
Well, I think it's some of our gutless leaders, not us as the average citizen. We have some weak leaders, even Trump. Trump is not being Trumpian right now. Why is he putting up with this stuff? I mean, it's not a matter of defending the Kurds. I'd whack the heck out of the Turks. I'd pull back all these F-16s that they actually are using to attack the Kurds. Like, say, we're not going to send you parts. How long do you think those planes will fly without parts? 1 week. I know from the guys, because I took care of them working in the airline industry. 1 week, those F-14s would not fly. Did you know that? Without parts.
I'm not surprised. I mean, that's why we go to such trouble to make countries dependent on our weapon system as opposed to our opponents.
Right, 1 week. So if we just decide, hey, we're not sending you parts there, Turkey, those planes would be mothballed in a week. they would not be able to attack anybody. They'd be sitting there looking real fancy on the tarmac.
Yep. And so the challenge is, by the way, I did add in the column, there are the arguments about animal cruelty and potentially adding greenhouse gases to the atmosphere from all the burps and so on that cows make out in the field to supply our hunger for meat.
Yeah, can you believe that? Yeah.
Well, in a minor way. The point is that can all be remedied very simply if we just went over to meat that was true tissue culture meat. In other words, you take a roast, you take a chop, whatever, you put it in a tissue culture solution, and you just let the meat grow. Mm-hmm. And you make that into your hamburger, you make that into your steaks and so on. We're not doing that. All these artificial meats you're hearing about now that are for sale at McDonald's and so on, those are synthetic, artificial meat. They're fake. Yeah. They're made with the combinations of chemicals and vegetables.
But ultimately, the Mount Erebus in Antarctica generates 50,000 times more carbon dioxide than all the coal-fired generators in the industry on the planet. These fools that think somehow we influence and control the weather, they're out of their mind. And then even when they talk about chlorofluorocarbons, these are heavy molecules. They never could get up to the upper atmosphere. Nitric oxide can, other things, small molecules. But the magnetic field of the Earth is weakening. That's the primary reason why the radiation is getting through. And the problem is we put pollutants. What is the
number one greenhouse gas on planet Earth? It's water vapor.
Exactly.
So if you think you can get rid of water vapor, maybe make the clouds go away, make the fog go away, and so on, good luck.
I think these people are clinically insane. They want us to believe their insanity. They're people that need to be locked up in a psych ward with a posy jacket on in a padded room with a shot of antipsychotic in their butt and no daytime, no yard time, no internet, and no ability to do book tours. How's that?
Well, that's why I hope people will take time to get the book for free while they're thinking about it. Just call
and that number again?
800-630-1492, like the year Columbus sailed the ocean blue. To get the free book, you'll love it, and if you don't like it, we'll give you your money back. Which, since you didn't pay any money, won't necessarily. But it's a great opportunity.
We'll give you your glory back. Yeah. I think it's unlikely that they're going to want the book back. They're going to read it and they're going to have an OMG moment. They're going to say, "You're kidding." No, you're not kidding.
And it's very heavily documented. I mean, you can prove point by point, statement by statement, that what we're saying is accurate.
Do you know what I think we should start doing? I'm going to work out a nutraceutical anti-nauseant for watching the news. Take before watching any news channel, even Fox, so you won't barf. The anti-news barf pill. How's that?
It sounds health-giving.
It is. It's going to be health-giving. Amazing show today. A meatless world.
Ocasio-Cortez also wants to get rid of prisons and let all prisoners loose.
Yeah, I know, isn't that crazy?
We'll talk about that next time.
Next time, we're going to talk about, she has no end of stupidity. She's like a bottomless pit of insanity. Crazy. Absent a cortex. The think tank for the left. How's that? That's her name. And her tank is empty. Nothing in there. Clink, 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 clink. She's a think tank.